Today we're going to be interviewing my friend Leo, who's making over $1,000 per day dropshipping on Pinterest. I'm going to ask him everything from how to test products to how to run ads, and also how you can do it too. Let's jump on this call. Hey, how's it going?
Perfect.
Let's get into it. Do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Leo. I'm 23 years old. I'm from Macedonia. I'm a multiple six-figure dropshipping entrepreneur. So I've been doing it for the past 2 years.
Give me a little bit of your background on how you got into e-com.
I just knew that I didn't want to work on something I don't like and enjoy, but I had to because my parents started forcing me to go to work somewhere. So I was forced to go and work at the local cargo. And I remember I went out there on the first working day, and after 2 hours I had to make an excuse, and I had to lie that I have to go home. Yeah, I said I need to figure out something to do, and I sat at home alone, and I was okay, this is not for me, what should I do? And then is when I started researching on Google how to make money online, and I got more and more interested into it, and that's how my journey began.
So you start dropshipping, you've learned a little bit about it. What now? What happened next?
Yeah, I pretty much started watching simple YouTube videos. Then I started creating shops by myself, doing simple stuff, Then I started networking with people, okay, how to do this, how to do that. And I started getting more and more interested. And I hired some pretty bad mentors in the beginning, which didn't help me at all. So it's one thing that people need to be careful when hiring a mentor. They need to know the mentor's background and what they do and stuff like that. So it was just I saw one guy on Instagram and I immediately trusted. I saw nice cars and stuff like that. So it's a trap.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people fall into that trap in the beginning.
I just wanted to cut the learning curve and stuff like that, but it's not how it works. Better you need to take your time.
So did you end up finding a good mentor, or did you learn most of this on your own?
I learned most of the things on my own. I bought courses, I bought everything, but you can definitely learn most of the things even just on YouTube.
You've gone through this process, so what is the best way for a beginner to start learning about e-com?
I would just say start. Start with the basics, and as you go on, improve. And what I mean by the basics is start digging into copywriting even more, buyer psychology, start learning what makes a winning creative. And the second thing people should focus on is just start networking. You never know who you might end up meeting, and start talking to people why X is better than Y.
So I see a lot of people who try e-com, the majority of them fail. Why do you think that is? Do you think it's just they're not putting in those repetitions?
Yeah, they give up too fast probably, and they listen to the bad people. There are a lot of people who are saying oh, dropshipping is dead. It's not in 2017, blah, blah, blah. But you can start with just a simple craft store selling products from China. And as you find what's working for you, you can definitely improve from there.
So what's the biggest thing that led you to hitting these big numbers, $1,000 days and stuff like that?
We tested crazy numbers of products. When I first started, I tested one product every day. And the thing when testing one product every day is just to build the momentum, to get consistent, to understand okay, this is working, that is working. But once you progress and once the purchases are starting to come in, you need to increase the testing numbers. So I started testing 10 products every week. Then I started testing 15 products every week. And currently I'm testing anywhere between 10 to 20 products every week. Yeah. So a lot of people say okay, you need to focus on smaller amount of products, but make it with great websites and stuff like that. But when you think about it, okay, I'll find this mouse somewhere, and I would think it would do good, and I would spend 2 days creating the website, and on the third day it might not even sell. So I just wasted two days. So that's why we like to do mass testing, because we just launch the products, we just launch the product pages. We are not really focused, okay, this word needs to be here, that title needs to be there, we just start. And then when we find okay, this is showing some potential, this has good metrics, then we focus on those products specifically, and we improve the product page, we improve the ads, we check on the price, we check on the last few days how it's performing. So we double down on what's working. So that's how it works. It's like really important to understand the customer's emotions and why they need to buy your product. Like you need to do your research. And yeah, that's how I got to my like consistent $1,000 days.
How do you test products? Can you walk me through that process?
I don't neglect the saturated products like a lot of people do. And I like to test like angles. I like to test like creatives. So I always tell the people, if you have a good creative and you find an emotion of why the buyer needs your product, then you can sell a lot of saturated products like I do right now. But we test like with low budgets because Pinterest is so cheap. Like you can get 10 cents cost per clicks. And yeah, it's insane. The CPM is also very low. But yeah, that's how we test.
Dude, that's really cool. Like I've never thought about it like that. The common advice is don't test saturated products. I get told all the time that I need to be testing like only untapped products. That's really interesting that you hold that opposite opinion.
Yes, a lot of people like to test like untapped products. It's not always the case. Like I can find like a saturated product and I can turn just the angle and how I market the product and I can sell it like goods.
How much do you spend per product, and how do you decide whether if it's like worth going after or just turning off?
Yeah, the most deciding factors are always like the metrics. I always look at the metrics. I always look at the ROI, cost per click, like CPMs and stuff like that. And I don't like to turn the products right off. Like most of the people say, okay, you need to test it like for 3 days. If it's not doing good, like if your click-through rate is not good, like kill the products. And it's not the case. Like what I like to do is always push the product to the limit. Like I will test like different angles, different creatives in order to like increase the click-through rate and to improve on the metrics. But if it's not like doing well, even if I give my best, then it's time to kill the product. But as far as the budget goes, we like to test products like on $5-10 per day.
And how many days do you normally run those? And also how many creatives do you test each product with?
Yeah, I start with, so on Pinterest, you don't have like ABOs anymore. So you only have like CBOs. And I always start like with one CBO, one ad group, and 3-4 different creatives, because 4 creatives at most work well on Pinterest. More than 4, it's not going like to perform very well.
Okay, and I'm not too familiar with Pinterest, so are those like photo creatives or are those videos?
It doesn't matter. Like if you have a good eye-catching photo, even photos work. So I've seen like some people crush it with photo creatives. I like to stick to videos.
What are the specific metrics that you look at when deciding whether to turn off a product or to keep pushing it? And I'm talking not just about like the names of the metrics, I'm talking about the specific numbers of the metrics.
A good cost per click on Pinterest is somewhere around 10 cents to 40, 50 maybe. It depends again on the product price. Like if your profit margins are good, yeah, then it's good like to have like a bigger cost per click, but I always like stick to in the range of like 10 cents to 40 cents.
Interesting.
And the second thing when I look at is the CPM. So I want to look at how much I pay in order to acquire like 1,000 people to see my ad. And a good CPM on Pinterest is anywhere from like $1 to let's say $5-6 at most. Anything above like $6, it's not good.
That's really helpful, because I always hear people talk about those metrics and they'll be like, if the metric makes sense, then I'll raise the budget or I'll start pushing the product harder. But I never know like what is a good cost per click. So like that's something I really wanted to ask you.
Yeah. But you can pay like even $1. Like you can afford to pay even $1 cost per click to have $1 cost per click. But if your net profits are good, like you do not have to worry about it. Like I worry about the cost per clicks only if my profit margins are slim. But I know there's room to make money.
Let's say that a product starts showing some promise. What is the next step?
If a product starts showing great results even from the start, the first thing that I do is I'm going to the product page and optimizing it even more. Maybe I'll go on Google and search what problems people have when they don't have my product. And then I implement those things like on my website, and I make the buyer's experience as simple as that. Like I treat the customers like they don't know anything. Like I will even write like how they need to complete the checkout, because I've had like a lot of people send me emails. The next step is scaling the CBO campaign, then launching like custom CPA campaigns in order to like outbid the competition so I can win the ads. We test products like on a default website, what I would like to say, like on a Shopify theme and stuff like that. But when we find like a product is really working, we like to transfer like on a custom landing page, and that's what we've been told, like me and my partner, like Rowan. So that's what I'm talking, like we. So that's what we've been told by a recent like consultant, because we have hired like a consultant who has like 10-15% click rate across all his websites. So yeah, the goal is to always like improve and learn from people who are doing better than you.
Do you have any tips for people getting into dropshipping?
I would say, like I said in the beginning, the most important thing is to just start. Like, and if you don't have money, like start saving money, then invest into like people who already know more than you. So the best thing to learn dropshipping is like hiring a good mentor, but don't rush like me, like I did. Always look at the mentor's background, like I mentioned, think what they have achieved and stuff like that. So if they make sense to you, yeah, it's the best way to hire a mentor. So that's the best tip that I can give.
Okay. And how much money should somebody have if they want to start dropshipping to really give it a good shot and find an actual product that works?
On Pinterest specifically, I would say around $300 to $500 is, I can say, enough to test products to get it going. But if you have more than 500, it's always better, because you would have like to test more and more products. You will have more like room to experience things.
And on these creatives, like whether you do a video creative or a photo creative, are you making those yourself, or do you use like an agency or something like that?
So I like to find like good videos on the internet. When I'm testing specifically, I like to test with already existing like videos on the internet. But if I find the click-through rate bad, then I experiment some stuff like on my own. Like I'll edit the videos, I'll compile some clips by my own, and as it comes like to the image ads, I like to do them by myself. Yeah.
Awesome. And what are your goals for the next year?
My goals for the next year is probably have multiple 6-figure stores, maybe 7-figure.
Dude, I'm excited to see it.
A lot of people like ask me why Pinterest, like why did you choose like Pinterest instead of like TikTok, Facebook or Snapchat or whatever. And I chose Pinterest because I'm having like the least headaches with. And when I first started, I started learning about Facebook ads, and I actually had some shops like with Facebook ads. But as the iOS 14 update came, it started Facebook started restricting ad accounts, banning ad accounts, and it was really stressful time. So then I went on YouTube, and then I went to friends who I know, and they were saying okay, we need to try TikTok ads, and I started more focusing on TikTok ads specifically. So yeah, but I didn't like the idea of TikTok because back then I didn't have any money. So it was really expensive for me to test on TikTok, and it was not making any sense because on TikTok you need to spend $50 to $100 for one product, and I didn't like it at all. So I came across my current partner and mentor, Rowan. I followed him for around, let's say, 3-4 months. I saw what he did, and I got into contact with him. So we started talking about, okay, why did you choose Pinterest and stuff like that. And yeah, the idea behind Pinterest, it's like a search engine and a social media platform. So it's like Google. So a lot of the Pinterest users are landing on Pinterest because they want to get some ideas or they want to purchase something. So that really did make sense to me. So I started taking Pinterest more and more serious. And it's funny, I've seen some statistics about Facebook compared to Pinterest. It was saying that 16% who land on Facebook are looking for something to purchase, while compared to Pinterest, it's more than 60%. So yeah, the number is much higher, and a lot of people neglect Pinterest, but it's not the case. it's, to me, it's the best platform right now.
Dude, you're gonna make me switch to Pinterest. I might have to.
You definitely should.